Hey, this is Gavin, pretending to be a hero, looking for group on the internet. I do it in real life sometimes too. Yesterday, some people call it Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I heard Pastor Paul Vanderklay say that. I hung out with a bunch of people who call it Robert E. Lee Day. Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas would they celebrate? I'm in Alabama. Robert E. Lee Day on the same day as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So different cultures. The and I got to hang out with a bunch of men. It's kind of like a fraternity thing. And when we before we did dinner, we did the Pledge of Allegiance, like 40 men doing Pledge of Allegiance. We sang the Star Spangled Banner, and then I think these were, what do you call them? Episcopalian. A lot of them are Episcopalian. A bunch of people who went to the University of Arkansas in the older generation. The younger generation, different universities. And so they did a prayer afterwards, which is, there's this kind of the preacher or pastor will say something, and then there's like a response, and then there's a prayer. But I kind of go to bed early. I'm not, I go around and say hey to people, but eventually my back's hurting. I get away, I'm stretching, and I'm wondering, do I want to go talk to all of these strangers? And, I said, I'll just go to bed. And so I laid in bed and I was thinking about the Pledge of Allegiance. And the next day I'm riding back home with my father-in-law. I tell him about, how I'm thinking about the Pledge of Allegiance. And it occurred to him, he brought it up, he said, I don't think most people think about the Pledge of Allegiance. But yeah, how do you try to create peace on earth when you go and hang out with people like that in that situation? And if politics can come up, things like that can come up. What I do is I come in and say, how can I help? I go to like the owner, I say, let me know if you need any help, and I just try to help. I do that, and then if politics come up, I've gotten to this pattern of saying, so how would you do it? If we created a city, it was your city, how would you do it? And it doesn't matter what the person's complaining about with government. And I think you can do this with religion too. No matter what it is, you say, how would you do it? Because I'm trying to get ideas from other people about how they would do it, and maybe develop my own. It could, formulate into some kind of a book, maybe a different kind of Atlas Shrugged book. I don't agree with Ayn Rand. Like she posed the idea that, basically any person, all people are capable. And I disagree with that. I feel like, it's not even that I feel like, I believe that some people have privileges, more privileges than others, just because of the vagina we were born out of at a certain point in space and time. We can do a lot of work, but you can take two people who did the same amount of work, and depending on the vagina they came out of, they will have different outcomes. And so I call that privilege. And so I disagree with Ayn Rand on that one. And I don't like altruism, like forced altruism with the threat of violence. At the threat of a gun and the government. I'm with the libertarians, but but I do like volunteering. I like trying to help. I feel like I'm privileged. I like trying to help. And then the question is, well, is it helpful, right? When you go out and you help people, how helpful is it? Because there are always trade-offs, right? Opportunity costs, and bad things happen because of good intentions. And so, a lot of people are not thinking deeply and trying to be honest. And that's why everyone can just say the Pledge of Allegiance, for example. But there's many examples. So I hope y'all are doing well. I have to go hop in a meeting. Bye-bye.